Hi everyone, it's Tyler, and look who I'm with. Say hi.
Hi.
So last year for Chosen Family, I did a little queer brunch with some of my faves, and it was such a fun, heartwarming experience where I feel like we all took something away from it. And today, I was like, I want to do it again for this season. So I invited a bunch of these lovelies, and we have food, we have questions, and there is tea to be spilled.
Okay, my first queer kiss was blank. My first queer kiss was my first boyfriend in high school. I remember and I met at the Cold Stone Creamery in Plainfield, Illinois, which was, in many suburban situations, I feel truly the Underground Railroad for gay teens. We all found each other at the Cold Stone. Yeah, and I came out, and then 2 days later he came out as well to me on AIM.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Oh my gosh, did you ever use AOL
what it
Messenger?
is. No. Oh God, such a
Not
huge
living.
moment.
I must go. It's okay.
We all have to self-immolate now.
You have texting. We didn't have emojis.
Yeah.
So
No.
never mind.
I don't remember my first queer kiss at all because I was probably a hoe.
Love.
Yeah. There were so many at one time that it just kind of, it was like, what's that? The avalanche, snowball effect. Once it started, it just kept going. I was kissing everything.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I always find it hard to answer this question as a trans bisexual guy because it's like, okay, before I transitioned, I kissed people of all genders, and after transitioning, I kissed people of all genders.
Well, I haven't even had my first kiss yet.
That's okay too.
But I mean, I have had elementary school pop kisses.
Let me talk. It's not gonna be that good.
I don't know, I gotta say, my first kiss was in a cobblestone alleyway in England, and the church bells rang at midnight, and I'm not even lying, it was ridiculous.
Okay, so maybe it will be right.
I pray you get the cobblestone and not in the back of a Pontiac Sunfire. That's all I have to say.
The biggest struggle I've had between the multiple parts of my identity is being that I identify with almost everything, truly everything. It's being a Black, gay, effeminate, male, very much so of expression. Just saying that out loud always has a problem in my own identity because it's hard for me to always find a place where I fit in. So I have to make a place for me to fit in. And somehow I always fit in with something. And that's the biggest struggle because if I walk into a room, I have to then work even harder to be like, just like me.
The biggest struggle I've had between the multiple parts of my identity is the feeling of being unwelcome by different parts of my community and within different parts of my identity. I've been a wheelchair user for the past 3 or 4 years, I lost count. And one of my favorite gay bars in my city is no longer accessible to me as a wheelchair user. I go to that bar still because I can get to the first floor, but I can't get to the best floor, which is the second floor. And it shouldn't take somebody who's a wheelchair user saying, I'm part of this community, I should be allowed access to this space.
I would say one of the biggest challenges that I face, with my intersecting identities, is someone who is a performer and is out there. The responsibility of representation is fairly present in my work. I would say my loudest critics and trolls online tend to be either gay men or Asian men, because I think, and it is a problem of being one of the few working gay stand-up comedians, I think that people tend to see my act, and then if they don't see themselves represented, they get very mad because they don't have a lot of other things to turn to. It's the lack of options that really hurts. And so it's frustrating to me at times to have to think about jokes in that way, in ways that I would just like to have it be from my point of view. I'm an individual person who's been affected by all of these different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, I'm Joel. This is my opinion as Joel, not as a gay man or as an Asian man or as an adopted person.
A piece of advice I'd give my baby queer self is just be who you are. I know it's a simple message, but living in your truth and loving yourself is one of the most beautiful and powerful things you can do. And everyone is gonna try to tell you who you are, and you're gonna receive hate and face discrimination, but you just have to love yourself and be proud, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
My favorite Pride memory was, I believe it was 2012, it was my last Pride in Chicago, and I was dancing till 4 at Berlin. Yes,
You better.
You gotta go to Berlin. Got pickpocketed. Made out with somebody.
It was me. I did it.
Unconcerned about my wallet. I was so much younger then and had no money anyways, so it didn't matter.
You're like, good luck with the debit
And
card.
then, yeah, exactly. And then made out with a cute boy, and then wandered home, and it was like the sun was rising. Someone had popped open a fucking fire hydrant, and a drag queen was dancing on top of a police car. And I was like, I feel like I've stumbled into a Beyonce music video somehow.
Iconic.
And that memory will forever be ingrained in my head, as no Pride could ever end in
That's
such
amazing.
an amazing way. No wallet either. Yeah.
My favorite Pride experience is when I understood my own coming to Jesus with my attractiveness and sexuality, which I think that's really the beginning of what Pride should have been, understanding who you are and having a community around you and being special and worth something. You realize that there's worth in who you are, that people want to be around and accept and thrive with. That's the word of the year, thriving.
My favorite Pride memory was 2015. I had just come out as trans and started transitioning, and I had been in Mountain View and was taking an early morning train into San Francisco to go to Pride. And on that train is when everyone got the push notifications about marriage equality passing. And the car just erupts in like applause and cheering. And I, by coincidence, had been reading a section of Kate Bornstein's memoir that was like a history of San Francisco Pride. And so it was just like everything came together in one moment, and it was just like euphoric. It was amazing.
That is iconic.
Awesome.
Here's one. I used to think I had to be blank to be queer enough.
I used to think I had to be hot to be queer enough. And I am.
I was gonna say hello.
And now I'm queer. No, I made it. Yeah, I made it to that upper echelon. I say that mostly as a joke, but I do think less to be queer and I think more to be gay was like an issue of attainability and a certain level of attractiveness that you see the community being represented by, and that's beautiful and lovely, and I love to look at those people, but there is a diverse set of bodies that are within our community that we don't see a whole ton of.
I used to think that I'd have to be skinny and white. Two things that I'll never be, as much as I want to be white.
But you're everything.
You know, as much as I want to be white, I will never be skinny. As much as I don't want to be, I'll never be. But it's exactly what you said. It's what's it's in front of you. That's what's being forced. If you're not beautiful, if you're not skinny, if you're not white, you're the lesser. And in actuality, you're the same. You're not less of anything just because you're not the stereotype of what they throw on magazines and billboards and television.
I used to think I had to be sassy to be queer enough. When I go back and look at my older videos, I'm like, who was I trying to be? Like, and while that was definitely a part of who I was, and while it definitely is a part of the community, if that is who you are within the community, it was just like I was trying so hard to be what I thought people would click.
My favorite part about being me is, I don't know, I'm great.
There's so much.
I just like, I like being me. And you know what? I think now that I think about it, I'm sure that like other people probably, especially because of the stigma of like disability, are like, what? How can you like your life? Strangers have literally come up to me and said, oh my God, you're so brave. I would kill myself if I were you.
And
Just like
thinking
that.
they're being nice.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
think it's a compliment. But yeah, I'm chronically ill, and yeah, I'm a person with a lot of joy and a lot of gratitude anyway. And I'm also queer, I'm also Latinx, and all these identities honestly provide me with such a colorful life and a colorful experience that I'm very grateful for. So when I say I'm great, I mean it.
My favorite part about being me is being me. I mean, you've met me. I've been alive and doing so much work on accepting me and looking myself in the mirror and actually crying, being like, you're beautiful, and to the fact where I actually believe what I'm saying, you are beautiful, which is the hardest thing to do, being able to walk like yourself, talk like yourself, act like yourself. I am an actor, and so my entire existence has always been being someone else, and it started to bleed into my life where I was like being someone else. And so now I'm just being me, which is beautiful. It's so hard to just be yourself. You're not trying to fit into anybody's box. You're not trying to be a Kim. You're not trying to be a Chloe. You're not trying to be a Beyonce. You're just trying to be you, which is one of the most beautiful things about being and living.
All right, this is the last question. To achieve queer liberation, we must not forget.
It's about inclusivity. And the more people we literally invite to the table, the more diverse we're gonna recognize, and we're gonna be more inclusive, and hopefully when allies really listen, then we're really gonna have like a fully inclusive and accessible space for the entire community, not just parts of the community.
Just remembering that we all share the one umbrella term of being human, you know, and just loving and accepting one another for our humanity, and just realizing that we're not all the same. We are different, but we have to embrace those differences and look at those differences as uniqueness. And once we could realize that, we could really just like come together hand in hand and be a big happy family.
And liberated, and we can burn our bras together.
So thanks everyone for joining.
Oh, thanks for
And
having
thank
us.
you for being vulnerable and sharing. And if you guys want to check out more about all of these lovely people, I'll put all of their links below. Please subscribe and follow and learn from them, because one of my favorite things about all of them is learning from them when I see them on my timelines all the time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to get the pin for this episode's video. The proceeds go to charity. If you haven't seen the other episodes of Chosen Family so far, go back and watch, and there are tons more coming, so get ready for that. That's all for today. Thanks everyone for joining. Later.
Bye.